let's get to sharp calls.
And shout out to our loyal listeners that turned their alerts on in the Action app and they were able to get the +3 on Houston. I told you exactly what was going to happen. The +3 was going to pop. The pros are going to come in and slam it. That's literally any pro I talked to. They smashed that +3. So I think it was there for 4 hours. You could have had it. It was sitting there in multiple books, and it's gone. It's 2.5. I really don't think it's going to get back to 3. I think the books know that if they do need any type of Houston money, they can just move it to 3 and they'll get tons of it. So yeah, the pros. I already talked about. They love Cleveland at -1.5. They love Houston at +3. Do what you want. I mean, we're gonna go through that game and we're gonna have a bunch of stats and trends for you, but it's such a key number game. Like it's the pros are just split on it. Like I know plenty of guys for both sides. So this next one's pretty interesting. The Chiefs Miami game. I don't really have that much of an opinion on it. Like I did put a bet in the Action app of taking the Chiefs money line with the Bills money line, and it's just playing the numbers of like, okay, Miami doesn't win in cold weather games, but I can't wrap my head around taking the Chiefs at -4.5 now. Like it's impossible for me to do. Like I just because they were off for a week doesn't make me forget about how bad this offense has been for the last 3 months. It's just I can't get behind taking the Chiefs. I don't care how cold it is, the wind, everything. I want to take Miami here. So the pros I've talked to, they're in the same boat as me, where it's like they like the Chiefs at 3, they like them at -3.5, and once they hit 4.5, it's like, all right, might as well wait and see how high this number can go for Miami because that's going to be the play. Like this number's moved too much based off weather. Miami is one of the best running teams in football. Like it's just such a big deal to me what the situation is with Mostert. So like me, most pros have either hit this number or they've just been waiting now for the last day or two to see where this number is going to go. So a lot of conversation around that Chiefs Miami game. Uh, Pittsburgh Bills, a game we kind of talked about just because you love the Bills so much. If the weather keeps getting worse, I guarantee you guys are just going to pound this Pittsburgh number just because your biggest asset, Josh Allen, in this game against Rudolph, it's gone. Like there is no advantage either side, right? It's like, okay, who can just survive playing in -10-degree weather with 30 per mile out winds in Buffalo? Like Evan had his amazing article he put out um talking about how the Bills have fared in this kind of weather games. And I think they had one game where they blew out Miami, right? And then the other games all seemed pretty close. So we don't have enough data there to really take a side depending on the weather. But Chad's locked in at -10 on Buffalo. So I know where he's at. It's just interesting talking to pros where it's like they're like me. They're like, this number's moved so much off the weather and the Watt news. At what point does it move too much, right? And that's the thing here. Now it's just been sitting at 10 though, right? I mean, we're 2 days
Yeah.
later, it's still at 10. Uh, this next game, me and Chad are really going to dive into, so I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, the pros love Green Bay. Like it's just a
Yeah.
no-brainer play. The fear is why isn't this number moved? And when I talked to a couple bookmakers, they're not moving it because they know all the teasers, all the parlays, all the money line plays are all going to be all over Dallas, and there's no need for them to really move it. Like that helps them balance the book. The fact that so many professionals are coming on the 7.5, but that's definitely the public side is Dallas. I thought it was going to be Green Bay in the 7.5, but from everyone I've talked to, it seems like the public likes Dallas in that spot. Next one, we already knew the pros were going to love the Rams. And everyone I talked to, that's the thing that's scaring me right now, Chad, is I've maybe talked to two guys that like Detroit. It seems like everyone is just so lockstep on this Rams team and at that number. Even at 3, I've talked to some pros that still like it at 3, but we said it on Tuesday. You want to grab that 3.5. I knew it was going to disappear. It has, even the number keeps moving towards the Rams. Like they were plus 105 at a couple books. Now they're -105 at those books. So even the juice in the vig is starting to move against this Rams team. And the final one, Tampa, no shock. The pros, they like the Eagles at under 3. Now that it's at 3, they like Tampa. They think that's the value right now is on Tampa. And another game we'll dive more into, obviously, but Baker practice didn't look like the ankle or the ribs were bothering him. On the flip side, the Eagles, Smith is not practicing yet. I know AJ is limited. They got major injuries, Eagles, compared to this Bucks team. So definitely an interesting game we're going to dive into when we go today.